Okay, so today we're going to try and make baguettes at home. In front of you, I have water, bread flour, whole wheat flour, yeast, salt, malt powder, and Polish. Now the Polish is roughly 200 grams, which is equal parts water, flour, and a pinch of yeast. The first thing I'm going to do is combine all the ingredients together and put it in a stand mixing bowl without the salt. What I want to do first is actually pour a little bit of water into the bowl of the Polish and scrape the sides. Now what ends up happening, it makes this much easier to release and it's just easier to go into a stand mixing bowl. So you see that's floating, there you go. Scrape off the sides. Just add a little bit more water and do that once more. Okay, kind of see it's released. Okay, so first we're going to put our Polish with water into our stand mixing bowl. Okay, add the rest of the water. Yeast. Whole wheat flour. Bread flour. Malt powder. In a stand mixer fitted with a hook attachment, I'm going to turn it on low speed for 2 to 3 minutes until it becomes a shaggy mass. So after 2 minutes or so, I'm going to stop the machine. It should look something like this. And we're just going to let it sit for about half an hour. So after half hour, you just make sure we scrape down the sides a little bit. We're going to sprinkle the salt. We're going to increase our speed to medium and then mix for 5 to 7 minutes. What you want to do now is check the dough and see if it has developed enough gluten. So what you want to do is basically the window pane test. You want to stretch it. I think that's pretty good. We're going to let this rest for half hour. So after half an hour, I just want to do a series of stretch and fold. So I'm going to wet my hands a little bit. I'm going to pull and stretch it back on itself. Pull, stretch it back on itself. Pull, and you're going all 4 directions. Like that. And then that's it. We're going to rest for another half hour. So after half hour, we'll repeat the same process, stretch and fold. So when you get my hands a little bit wet, I'm going to reach down, pull up and push, pull over from all 4 sides. And this is going to continue to build strength in your dough. Like that. That's it. Now rest for another half hour. We're going to do 2 more of these folds for a series of 4 in total, and it's going to go to the fridge to cold ferment between 24 hours to 72, so you can bake between those times. transfer our dough into a stainless steel bowl, wrap it, it goes in the fridge to cold ferment for 24 to 72 hours. After cold fermentation, we took the dough out of the fridge, unwrap it. We're just gonna quickly degas it a little bit. And then we want to divide this to roughly half. So first we're going to see how much is on here. So roughly 780 grams. Looking at about 390. Okay. Just gonna cover it and let it sit at room temperature for 45 minutes. After 45 minutes of resting, I'm gonna divide this into 3. So roughly 130 grams each. Doesn't have to be exact. This one. There you go. After 45 minutes of resting, you want to shape them into rounds. So get a little bit of flour. Flour on top. Fold in. Bring all the sides into the center. Okay, Google, stop. And then just gonna shape it. Like that. So, top on, little flour on top, bring sides in. And then shape it around. Little bottom, on top, bring sides in. And again. So we are ready to shape our mini baguettes. So what we want to do is just gonna dust our baker's cloth generously with flour so it doesn't stick. Half an hour is up, so we're gonna shape the baguettes as well now. Just want to have a little bit of flour for dusting. I'm gonna flip this like so, and then just over. A little bit more flour as well. I'm gonna pat it down and stretch it. After that, I'm gonna fold a third down. I'm gonna rotate it this way and then throw a third way down. After that, you can take your 4 fingers, you're gonna curl the dough under and have your thumb underneath tucked in, and you're gonna pat it down, and you're gonna continue this from one side to another. You're gonna rotate, same motion. What I like to do is just kind of pinch the seam as well. I don't think it's crucial. Okay. And after that, we're gonna roll this out just like that. Fold this over, rotate over again, and then fold over, fold over, and top, and then roll out. Third, 1, 2, and 3. There you go. All right, 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to put it on the baker's cloth. Make sure the seam side's down. This one doesn't have that much flour. Okay, like so. And we're gonna rest it for 45 minutes to an hour. 45 minutes is up. We're gonna transfer these mini baguettes onto a sheet pan with a piece of parchment. I've inverted the sheet pan so it's easier for us to slide through. And then what we have is also a cutting board so we can actually transfer. So what I wanna do is I'm gonna just release this. And then I wanna lift up this part of this and then flip it over. Gently. And transfer it over like so. Again, we're gonna lift up. It's a little bit sticky. I should have put more flour on, like so. And then one more like this, lift up. And it's a very wet dough, so that's why it's kind of like that. So you can give it a little bit of final pre-shaping, and we're gonna score, and we're gonna put it in the oven for 15 minutes. So what we want to do now is score it and then transfer this into the oven on a baking steel or baking stone at 500 degrees. We're gonna bake with this lid on for the first 5 minutes. We're gonna take it off and then we're gonna bake for another 12 to 15 minutes. I have my plate here. I suck at scoring, and it's also weird for me to score these baguettes properly. I think the baguette knows I can't score properly. So